Hey friends, today on Gardening with Creekside, I am planting 3 very different containers. One for the full sun, one for the full shade, and one for the sun that is going to give me fragrance and structure in the garden. So whether you've got a sunny front porch, a shady woodland garden, or need some structure in a container, I have got some ideas for you. What we're going to do first is, of course, we are up here at the chicken coop. Can we take a moment just to appreciate the beautiful flowering tulips? So what we're going to do is we are going to plant a hanging basket that goes on this corner of the chicken coop. We are going to be using some brand new Superbells from Proven Winners. It is a gorgeous, magical Superbell that is going to give us beautiful, nice, late winter, early spring color here at the chicken coop. So without further ado, let's get some magical Superbells in this hanging basket. So what I'm going to be planting in the hanging basket on the corner of the chicken coop, like I said, brand new this year, this is the Superbells Magic Double Grapefruit. Now, Superbells Calibrachoas, of course, are these sun-loving, beautiful pops of color flowers that are quite cold tolerant. They actually perform really well in cool temperatures. Hence, this is why I am planting them in mid-March in North Carolina, a zone 8A. Your Superbells can totally take temperatures down into the 30s, a light frost, a light freeze, and they will do just fine. That is why I am scratching that itch of wanting to get some great annual color into my garden. So the Superbells Magic Double Grapefruit gets its name, and we'll see if the camera can cooperate here, because the flowers will actually kind of like change colors. The brand new flowers are a very nice, kind of like a soft yellow with a little bit of pink, and then you can see that they mature and age to a very bright pink. So you will get tons of different colors on these flowers, and it is a double, so you get that really cool little flower on it. So what I will be doing in this hanging basket is what I call a monoculture, meaning I am only going to plant one type of plant. Now, I am going to plant multiples of them, but I'm only going to do this. This is that classic hanging basket filled with gorgeous color. Your grapefruit is going to be about 12 inches tall, and I want to say in that like 12 to 18 inches as far as how it spreads. So a monoculture, you would want to do a monoculture in a situation like this because most people are not going to see this hanging basket up close. My family will, but even from a distance, so if we have like delivery drivers or whatever, they'll notice this because it's one plant in multiples, and it makes a huge impact from a distance. So without further ado, I've got all my supplies. I'm going to run through really quickly, give you a real quick tutorial on how to successfully plant a hanging basket so that you're setting yourself and the plants up for great success this spring and into summer. Okay, my friends, I promise I really do have a hanging basket. So this is a nice metal kind of copperish kettle hanging basket that I have had, used it for a couple of years now, absolutely love it, but it is tricky to plant because it has a rounded bottom, but I have found that if I put it inside this container, it won't wibble and wobble on me. So what we're going to do is we're first going to start with a high quality potting soil, right? So your favorite potting soil, we're going to fill it up as much as we possibly can. You want as much soil in your containers, that way your roots have plenty of room to grow. It holds more moisture, it holds more food, you're not having to water as often, and you're not having to fertilize as often. So start with great quality potting soil, fill the whole container up with soil. Now, once you've got your soil in, I like to leave a little bit of a lip because obviously we still have to add the plants in here. So that's gonna raise the soil up just a little bit, but nothing drives me crazier than watering and soil starts spilling out over the side. Drives me insane. So I like to leave a little bit of lip so that way when I water, it doesn't overflow. Next, we're going to put in the Proven Winners Continuous Release Fertilizer. Your Superbells, your Supertunias, they are extremely heavy feeders. Food equals flowers. If they don't have food, they are not going to give you flowers. Their foliage is going to turn like a yellow or a very light green. We don't want that. We want nice dark foliage with beautiful flowers. And so I'm going to put in a good bit. I don't measure it. It tells you on the box how to measure it. I just eyeball it and stick it in there. So this is a time release. It is released by temperature, and it will last anywhere from 3 to 6 months. So every time it rains or you water it, it slow releases the fertilizer. Not to take the complete place of the liquid fertilizer that we will use, but this definitely fills in the gaps. Next, we're going to put in some Biotone. Now, people will say, why are you using Biotone in a container? You know, why are you using that with your annuals? You're overfeeding these plants. They're going to have too much food. They're not going to be happy. I'm sorry, but experience and time say that I am right, because the Biotone creates strong roots. We want our plants, even annuals, to have very strong root systems, because happy roots equal happy shoots. The slow release, the continuous release from proven winners, and your Biotone are two totally different kind of fertilizers. You absolutely can and should use both at the same time. Now, I have 6 of these babies. So what I'm going to do is very simple. One's going to go in the middle and 5 are going to go around the edge. Simple as that. So we just kind of zhuzh a little hole, plop it in, boom. And we're just going to keep on going, get all 5 of them in here that are left. And then the very last thing I do, I'm going to put mulch around the top. I'll meet you back here and I'll explain why we're going to put mulch in our hanging basket. So we got the mulch laid down on top of the pot. Why do we do that? Well, 1, it makes it look prettier. 2, it helps keep the soil from splashing up on the plants. And then 3rd, most importantly, is that it helps retain moisture and helps to give a little bit of blanket to the plants and their roots to kind of help even out the temperatures a little bit. Superbells do fantastic in containers because they hate to have wet feet. That is why I, in North Carolina, with my clay soil, cannot put Superbells into my landscape. If I do, it is a slow death. My clay soil retains too much moisture. That's why I put them into containers nice and dry. So if you've ever grown Superbells before and you've had issues, it could be that you're overwatering. They do not like a ton of water. They tend to like it dry. So when in doubt, don't water. They'll let you know if they are thirsty. So the Superbells Double Magic Grapefruit is going to look gorgeous here with the tulips, with the yellow violas that I have. It's going to be fantastic. Having those 6 in there, yes, right now it's a little thin. You can totally see where the mulch is and there's some empty space. But believe you me, 6 Superbells in this container. This is probably like a 12-inch wide. That is going to be plenty of plants to be in here. Before you know it, they are just going to take off and be very happy. But they're just the cutest little flower ever. So if you see the Superbells Double Magic Grapefruit in your local garden center, make sure you grab some and pop them into your favorite container. My friends, we have gone from complete sun, and now we're going into shade. This is going to be such a fun container here at the woodland garden at the chicken coop. So we're just on the other side of the chicken coop. Now, what I have here is the Michael Carr strawberry planter that I have had for years. This has been on the back patio filled with the hens and chicks. They were looking rough because they had been in there for several years, and this pot just needed to have a little refresh. So what we're going to do is we're going to plant the 8 outer rings with some miniature hostas. That's right. If you're not familiar with miniature hostas, these are the cutest things because they are by nature very small and petite. So let me introduce you, if you don't already know, this is Mighty Mouse. We're going to see if the camera will pick up on all of those beautiful colors. Now, Mighty Mouse is only going to be 8 inches tall and 12 inches wide at maturity. This is definitely a baby plant. We just started these this year. All of the miniature hostas are part of the Creekside Champions line. So I have 3 varieties. I think I got 3. So I've got Mighty Mouse, Blue Mouse Ears, and School Mouse. So we're going to kind of alternate, have fun. We're going to plant them on the outer edges. And then this was Mimi's genius idea because the holes on the outside are perfect for either a quart-size container or like a grande container. So that's going to fit perfectly in there. Now the hole in the middle is the perfect size for a gallon pot. So Mimi's idea was to not plant the center plant directly into the pot, but however, put the plant of choice into a 1-gallon container and then just slip it down inside the strawberry planter. So that way it will go in just like this. It will look like it's planted, but it's not. So when the time comes, or I get a whim, or the season changes, or the plants don't do well, or who knows, rabbit eats them, I don't know, then I can easily pull this out and I can replace and change up the annuals in the center pot. I thought that was a great idea. So what we're going to be doing today is using, this is the proven winners. This is the Aramance Mulberry Nemesia. So this is a beautiful Nemesia that is an annual. It has kind of those dark purple lilac with those little yellow throats in them. These will get to be about 10 to 18 inches tall. Now I do have 2 that I'm going to plant as one in this gallon container. These Aramance mulberries are rated for full to part sun. It will get great morning sun. It's going to be like just enough sun for the Nemesia, but not too much sun for the hostas once the leaves pop out. Now, once we go into the season and we're in total and complete shade, the Nemesia may need to come out and I put in a shade-loving annual. So that's why we're just going to play with this and have fun. So what I'm going to do is kind of that same similar procedure is go ahead. I'm going to put some compost in the bottom of the hole. I'm going to plant my Nemesias in my 1 gallon. I will get a little bit of soil in there. Just watch. We're going to figure this out together. So I'll take you along for the whole ride and you can just watch while I work. Oh my goodness, y'all, how stinking cute is this container? Got the Aramance mulberry kind of faux planted there in the middle. And then I have all my little mice. They are in there nice and snug. So remember when I was talking about with the hanging basket about leaving a lip so the water doesn't overflow in the soil? It's a little harder to do in the strawberry pot because the holes are slanted, but I think I did a pretty good job. This time I'm not going to add any of the mulch, the pine bark fines, because I'm afraid they're just gonna fall right out. So I'll see if the soil settles a little bit, but everybody looks so stinking cute right here. Absolutely love the little mice, hostas, very, very cute. And then of course the strawberry planter just kind of falls right in line with all of my other blue pots here in the woodland garden at the chicken coop. So now that we have the hanging basket for the full sun, we've got the strawberry planter for the shade. Now we're gonna move to the backyard and we are going to do a nice big urn that is going to give me structure and fragrance and flowers for a very long time. Friends, what is my favorite fragrant flower? That is a lot of F's right there. What is it? Gardenia. We're gonna put a gardenia in a container. For our third container today, we are in the backyard. Now, contrary to what you might believe, this is going to be a full sun area. We are going to put, yes, a gardenia, not just any gardenia. There is a story behind this gardenia I can't wait to share with you, but the gardenia is going to go in this urn along with another round of Superbells. But of course, we've got to switch it up. It is going to be a completely different type, color, everything Superbells, right? Because variety is the spice of life. So let me tell you this little story about this gardenia. If you know me probably for any length of time, you know that gardenias by far are my probably top favorite fragrant flower. And that is because as a Southern girl growing up, it was just always my favorite, that heavenly fragrance of a gardenia. So that's why more times than not in the summer when you see me doing a video, if I walk by a plant and there's a beautiful gardenia on it, I'm going to pick that baby and I am going to tuck it behind my ear. That way I can take the flower with me wherever I go and I have that lovely fragrance. So it is no secret that gardenias are my top favorite flower for the fragrance. My mama obviously knows this very well. So late summer last year, she gave me a gorgeous gardenia, very, very unique. It is hardy in zones 8 to 11. You might recall that I am a zone 8A. I had it in a pot because when she gave it to me, it was smaller, so I kind of upgraded it to a pot. Now we're going to upgrade it one more time. But it overwintered outside except for the extreme cold. And then it spent a couple of weeks in my garage. Let's just say she had a rough winter, okay? So before I show it to you, she's rough looking. She needs to get out of that pot into a bigger pot. So I'm just trying to give you a little fair warning that when you see it, you're not like, what in the world did you do to the plant, woman? Let me show you. So this is Ogon no Hannah, which has been now trademarked as Gold Doubloon. And so this is a variegated gardenia. Now you can see she's rough looking, but this is going to give you an absolutely beautiful variegated display of color with those really fragrant double blooms. That is going to be at maturity, it could be 5 to 6 tall and about that same width in about 10 years. So this came from Japan. It is neat, it is unique, and so clearly she needs some love. So we are going to give her love today by planting her in the large tornado urn here in the backyard because it is in very close proximity to the patio, so I will be able to see her, I will be able to smell her, walk by and enjoy it. So what we're going to do is we're also going to plant those Superbells underneath the gardenia. This is the Black Currant Punch. Such a favorite of mine because of these colors. I mean like vivid iridescent colors. Has that ombre effect, of course, that pretty yellow throat there in the middle. So we're literally going to plant the gardenia in the center of the urn and then flank the edges with the Superbells. So I chose the Black Currant Punch, one, because obviously she's gorgeous and that's all the reason I really need, but two, thinking about the summer, fast forward. Here in the backyard, I'm gonna be planting the Supertunia Bordeaux right around this urn and in my backyard beds. So those colors will complement each other just really well. And then up on the patio, we're going to do the Supertunia Vista Cool Jazz. Again, kind of staying in that same family of colors. So this will be a nice accent, a nice pop to get me through the summer. But yet again, I am putting the Superbells in a container, not in the landscape. For me, with my clay soil, Supertunias go in the ground, Superbells go into containers. Basically, it's gonna be rinse and repeat, the exact same thing. We're gonna layer everything, we're gonna do Biotone, we're going to give the annuals that continuous release fertilizer from Proven Winners, we're gonna top dress with mulch. I do have irrigation in this container, so if you see me lay that brown tubing, that is drip tubing. Obviously, I am not running irrigation and I don't plan on it for any kind of length of time, so just know that I am preparing so that when we do turn on the irrigation, this pot will get watered. So without further ado, the last container of the day is getting planted. This sweet special gardenia that my mama gave me that needs a little love, because the last thing we want to do is say, Mimi, thanks so much for the present, but I killed it. So I got some work to do. Got the Superbells Black Currant Punch in the pot, got it watered, and then go ahead and put that mulch down as well. Now, y'all, you saw me, I just dumped the soil right on top of the gardenia. You can totally do that. Plants are tougher than you think. But you notice that I got all of the soil off. It is not crowding the crown of the plant. And all is well. Now, if you have a shrub that took a big hit during the winter, and I know you do because I've talked to you at the garden center about it, do not be afraid, because these leaves right here, they're gonna fall off. All of these damaged leaves more than likely are all going to come off. That is not in of itself a bad thing. Let's get rid of the damaged plants, the damaged leaves, but what we want to look for are the baby leaves that are emerging. We'll see if the camera will focus. Do you see those new leaves coming out? That's what we want to see. So even if, and it more than likely is going to happen, y'all, every single one of these older leaves is coming off, but as long as I get new growth popping out, which I already am, let's see, oh, and I just lost a leaf, y'all. There you go. See those little baby leaves? And then look what happened. One came off right there. So old leaf, we're just gonna say goodbye to that. No worries at all. So if you too have a damaged shrub, whether it's in the landscape or if it's in a container, whatever the case may be, if it's in a container and it needs to be moved up, then go ahead and let's do that now, right? So let's move it up, give it fresh, beautiful soil, give it that Biotone starter fertilizer for your strong root growth, put it in a bigger container, mulch it. In about 6 weeks, I'll probably come back and go ahead and add some Hollytone to this, because gardenias are acidic loving plants, and so I will go ahead and give it a dose of Hollytone. But you want to wait that 6 to 8 weeks after you plant it and use the Biotone, so you don't want to use Biotone and Hollytone all at the same time. That's going to be too much food for them. But it's not going to hurt the gardenia whatsoever to have these annuals in here. I can still use my liquid soluble fertilizer with them, and all will be well. So we're just going to kind of give her a little time to recover and get happy in her new home. But I have no doubt it will be absolutely gorgeous this summer, and of course later on this spring. Now, long term for this one, if I want to leave it in this container, I absolutely could leave it in here at least a year, probably 2 years. It depends on how happy she is. My concern would be in the wintertime, because she's hardy to a zone 8 to 11. I'm a zone 8A. North is right here, and this gets like cold winter winds. So I'll just kind of play it by ear and see what I want to do this fall. If I want to move it, this planter does not move very easily. It weighs like a lunk of lead. So we'll see. But size-wise, we've got plenty of time. We'll just see about the hardiness zone and the level on it, which of course I have no way of knowing what next winter is going to be like. So there you go. So y'all, an easy, quick way to bring in that spring color is put up some containers, right? Mix up the containers. You're gonna want to make sure that if you're using annual color, that what you're choosing is going to be cold tolerant. Supertunias, Superbells, Nemesia, Osteospermums, Ageratums, of course pansies, violas, all that kind of stuff all that goes well. What you do not want to plant would be coleus, basil. I personally wouldn't plant portulaca or lantana right now, because you know it's going to get cold again. The hot stuff, wait. The stuff that can do in the cool temperatures, absolutely go do it. So have fun at making your containers. There is a wide range that you could do. You could do a monoculture. You can put a shrub with annuals. You can put perennials with annuals. You can put perennials with shrubs. Y'all, it is your garden. Have fun in it. Spring is here in North Carolina. If it's not here your way, just hold on. It'll be there before you know it. As always, we hope you found this fun, informative, inspirational, and a little bit of fun. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, my friends.